I really value. I mean, deaf blindness, I started working with children with deaf blindness for so many years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And thinking about your invitation for this huge event with so many participants, with so much enthusiasm, and I have to again thank and congratulate the organizers, but just made me think about what it is deaf blindness for me, and for my professional experience and for my personal experience. And of course, when we think of people with deaf blindness, many of us think, first of all, of Helen Keller, and that we celebrate nowadays, you know, the International Day of Deaf Blindness on the 27th of June. That is due because she was born on this day in 1818 in Alabama. So it is encouraged to talk about deaf blindness, to raise awareness, because it is a specific competence, it is a specific experience for teachers, for practitioners, for professionals regarding deaf blindness and interaction, not only working, because I would like to say that it is not only working and educating, but it is firstly about interacting with children, people with deaf blindness. So it started for so many years ago now, this experience of knowing about deaf blindness, finding out about deaf blindness, and supporting people with deaf blindness in their rights. So just put in the calendar this day, but in the invitation is not just this day. It is every day when we work in this domain, when we have interactions with people with deaf blindness and their families, when we improve our competencies, we are aware of the implications, we support the rights, and why not? We work towards this inclusion, which is natural, which is normal, which is something that goes beyond saying. What is inclusion? As I told you before, inclusion is awareness. I have to be aware, but I will go through each of these aspects in my presentation. Again, I would like to support the idea that inclusion is a process, and it does not happen just because we say that it should happen. We have to prepare inclusion. We have to take various roles and responsibilities. We have to look for inclusion as an aim, as a result, but also to think which factors, which aspects, which the know-how of how to structure and to put into practice inclusion. So it becomes with awareness, to be aware of the others, to be aware of something that can be specific, to be aware of human diversity, to be aware of the disability that we are talking today about. It is also about definition and statistics. You have to define the disability, the disorder, the diversity regarding deaf blindness. And it's not, even though I said first disability, I would like to say in relation with inclusion that it is, a special diversity, a specific diversity in the school population, in social environments and contexts. Then it is about legislation, and you will see that you need to have legislation. You need to have methodologies to implement legislation. You need to have frameworks, and it was very difficult at the beginning in Romania regarding legislation and the need to lobby, the need to raise awareness in the society. So deaf blindness requires specific interventions, instruments of assessment, processes of evaluation, environments that are specific and all these had to be taken into consideration. Access and participation. And because I said access and participation, now I see that I didn't put one word, acceptance. So it's access, participation, acceptance, and one more now that I'm presenting to you, identity. We have to support identity. We don't talk only about children with deaf blindness, we talk also about adults with deaf blindness. So you will see the issues and the ideas when we talk about adults are related to empowerment, identity, quality of life, and of course for children are the same, but the extra needs is related to early intervention, education, and support for their families. Then we have assessment. A qualitative assessment is a qualitative intervention. And for many, many years, assessment is a challenge and has been a challenge because we didn't know how to assess a child who is nonverbal, who is preverbal, who can have a limited register of behaviors. And teachers and professionals, had many hesitant behaviors and attitudes in assessing children. How do I find out what is the level of development? What is your profile of development? And not only that, because doing an assessment is not just finding out or identifying profiles and level of development, but through assessment, I have to identify the level and the type of support. These are always linked, and please remember and think of this all the time. When you evaluate, you have to think of the support immediately in the same time. Okay, I'm evaluating, I'm assessing, I'm finding out strengths, limitations, possibilities, but at the same time, I'm looking for the opportunities. Uh, so education and intervention is part of inclusion. Being included does not mean that, and especially being included in mainstream school, Romania still has the special schools that goes along with mainstream schools and inclusive schools, but it is something that we are still, taking into consideration as offering for children and for their parents as possibilities. So both systems are available for children, but it depends on their level of development and on the support that the school can offer. So systems of support, very, very important, because I didn't finish my idea. When including does not mean that your needs should not be taken into consideration. Inclusion means respect for those needs and means that school institutions should support those specific needs in order for you to have a successful inclusion. What is a successful inclusion? It's not necessarily something that it is related only to educational programs. A successful inclusion means that the child identifies, with the program, identify with the environment, identify with his or her teachers, identify with his or her colleagues. So takes part of and identifies, and it is motivated to participate, and it is empowered to learn and to communicate. So, another word, inclusion means empowerment. And just to put into brackets, disability models. Today, we talk about identity model, we talk about cultural model, we talk about affirmation model. So who am I? who am I within this diversity, that I can learn, that I can communicate, that I can have friends, and that I can work. So it is something that I am aware that I have this disability, but I know how to accept it myself, and to be and accept also to be included. And this is something that I would invite you to think about. You know, inclusion means also the acceptance of the person to be included, because we usually include somebody, but that's not the best approach. We have to find out also if that person accepts to be included, and how can we support this acceptance? How can we understand this acceptance on behalf of children, individuals, and people? Another thing, training for professionals, that is a must. We did in Romania, and you will see so many trainings at university level, NGOs, associations, Ministry of Education. We have national trainers in deafblindness, and with the support of NGOs like Sense International Romania, Perkins International, we developed for 25 years now everything that is of support for teachers. Partnerships with family, but I will get back to the training. Partnerships with families. Many people do not understand the importance, and I have to say that even professionals or teachers do not know many times how to support families, how to communicate with families, how to collaborate with families. And we have to learn also. It's not just something that happens. Of course, we have personal and professional abilities to cooperate, to work in interdisciplinary teams, but we have also to learn to be a partner, an authentic partner to the families. And in inclusion, we mainly talk about teachers, we talk about children, we talk about individuals, but we have to talk about institutional development. The institution has to change, has not only in the mission of the institution that we are going to include children and support the participation of children with deafblindness in our schools, or other social institutions or working places that again promote and support the participation of adults with deafblindness in regard of social and professional inclusion. So just a little bit about our history and tradition. And deafblindness in Romania started in 1956. It is something that we cherish very, very much, because when we talk about Mr. Vasile Adamescu, Vasile Adamescu was born on the 5th of September 1944, and he died on the 6th of December 2018. And he was a person with acquired deafblindness, but he was and he is somebody that made a difference regarding education for children with deafblindness and what we know about deafblindness here in Romania. It was at that time, he was not from Cluj, where I am, and where he went to school, but because he came to school where is a very renowned school for children with visual impairment, with the support of the Ministry of Education at that time, and with the support of the university, it was possible that a class with one student, it was only him, a class with one student, one founded at primary level, secondary level, high school. So together with professors from the university, his teachers, supported his needs. and his development and his acquirement of skills and his extreme intelligence and eagerness to learn about and explore about the world supported him in graduating special education specialization within the Faculty of Psychology and Educational Science. And he became a teacher. He became a teacher who worked in the school for the visually impaired children. I met him. I worked with him. He was remarkable. He knew so many forms of communication, and he wrote books about his life and about his experiences. And I just put here the cover of his first volume, an autobiography, and the title of this book is Challenging Life. Challenging Life, and it is something that we always recommend to teachers, to students, to parents to read, because it's in an experience that makes you understand so many things. History and tradition in Romania. After this experience of Professor Vasile Adamescu, in 1998, it was the first national seminar on deafblindness organized by the Special Education Department, where I work at the Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences at Babes-Bolyai University. At that time, there were 50 participants, teachers, representatives of educational authorities, NGOs, and people with deafblindness. And Sense UK, which is a huge organization providing services and programs for individuals with deafblindness in the United Kingdom, they participated and they started to raise awareness in our country regarding the need to include children with deafblindness in the systems of education. And then after this first national seminar, there were many awareness campaigns. Local and national authorities, at that time, Sense International Romania was founded, and they did a huge lobby to the authorities, to the central authorities. And I will let you know one huge success of their work, together, of course, with other partners. Perkins International was also involved in so many activities in Romania, and they supported also the education of children with deafblindness and multisensory impairment, and our university and the University of Bucharest. So universities joined because it was something related also to training. It was something related to research and to improve knowledge. Raising awareness, I told you that it is very important in a society, in a community, when you want to make some changes, when you want to respect rights of various vulnerabilities and diversity, that you raise awareness, you do lobby so that you make a change on the legislation. Yes, of course, people may say it's not enough. It's not enough, but it has to be, because your activities, your actions, your programs need to have the legal norms, the legislative norms, and support regarding staff, regarding resources, regarding functioning, and just to know. As a statistics in Romania, this is a statistics from the national authorities of services for people with disabilities. There were 882,900 adults, and children with disabilities, out of which 200,000, 41,248 are individuals with visual, hearing, associated and impairments and deafblindness. But as I said, this was something that facilitated the work of professionals and authorities in time, because as you can see here, deafblindness in Romania is a distinct category of disability, which is recognized by the Law 448 from 2006. And this Article 86 says that on the protection and promotion of the rights of persons with disabilities, republished as amended and supplemented, the types of disabilities in Romania that are recognized are physical, visual, auditory, deafblindness, so it's a distinct disability, somatic, mental, psychic, HIV/AIDS, associated and rare diseases. And this is in the legislation. We have the possibility to work and to found and to develop services and programs based on this huge, as I said, win and something that was in time with great effort and lobby to the authorities to recognize deafblindness as being a distinct disability, which is a huge success and was a huge success, and of course still is. Accessibility. So here just a few of the laws. And all of these laws and orders of Ministry of Education, Health, Social, take into consideration distinctively deafblindness, because it already has been established in such a way. So let's say this law regarding accessibility says to assure authorized interpreters in sign language and the specific language of people with deafblindness. So again, something that we support, communication that is specific. You need to be aware of the forms of communication that people with deafblindness use. You have to respect the linguistic identity of the person, the communication profile. So this is something that we are again very proud of, that we respect, the specific language of people with deafblindness. Also, the educational content for early intervention for children with MSI. We use the word MSI in Romania, multisensory impaired / deafblindness or deafblindness included. Also, another emergency ordinance in order to recognize sign language and the language is specific to persons with deafblindness as mean of communication. So again, respect to the communication and approach it in educational, social, professional contexts. One huge change again to support linguistic identity and diversity. In March 2020 in Romania, we start to refer to the Romanian Sign Language. So I didn't want to talk so much about legislation, but I wanted to let you know that raising awareness, putting actions and lobby will make authorities and societies and communities think and support and talk about inclusion in this way. Inclusion cannot happen if we don't know about it. Inclusion cannot happen if we don't know what it is all about, why it is different, why it is exceptional, why is it special. So I cannot include, or I cannot think of a program of inclusion if I don't know, okay, okay, but why? Why do you need this specific support? So that I facilitate for you, I'm enabling for your inclusion, and then I respect your right to do so. And communication is such an important issue. And dear colleagues, that communication is something that usually it is a priority in the programs, and we focus on communication so that we aim independence. Also going a little bit, there are national strategies for the rights of persons with disabilities. We have early intervention programs for children with sensory disabilities, multiple sensory disabilities. Also, from 2023 now, to complete this law from 2006 to promote and to protect the rights for people. One article states that for people with visual impairment, including deafblindness, there is auditory guiding systems and tactile maps. And this is just that I picked out some information. Of course, the norms are much more complex, but just to let you know that it is specific. And in all these norms, in all these methodologies, you see, deafblindness is mentioned separately. It's not part of associated disabilities. It's not part of multiple disabilities or other categories, but it is separate and distinct. So imagine everything that comes related to the rights and to the protection and services will necessarily make reference to deafblindness in particular. One huge step for us in 2008, the Ministry of Education, sorry, there's a mistake there, Ministry of Education and Sense International Romania, and I have put their because they were very much involved and still are, but it was the start of educational system. What does it mean, the start of educational system? Because we had the experience of Professor Vasile Adamescu in those years, but it was necessary to extend that experience. It was necessary to identify, to diagnose children with deafblindness, and groups were created in the educational system in order to support. I have to say proudly that I was one of the teachers who worked in one of the two groups at the beginning in 2008. It was one group here in Cluj at school level, and there was one other group in Bucharest, the capital of Romania, at preschool level. So these were the two groups in 2008 that started as MSI deafblindness groups. They were called like this in the Romanian educational system, in the special educational system, but these were specific groups, and there were various kind of aspects related to their functioning. It was possible to have groups or classes functioning with 2 up to 4 children. This is a report on the National System of Education from 2008. And it referred to it is mentioned there, development of educational programs for children with deafblindness, children with severe multiple and or associated disabilities, children with autism. So 2008 was the year when it was implemented. It was a piloting project at the beginning, but then it was implemented, and in time, so many groups all around Romania have been developed and implemented. 64 classes were one time later all around Romania. 15 schools, 500 children with MSI, deaf blindness included, were getting proper service, respect to their needs, learning needs, communication needs, development needs. So it started very, very structured in 2008. So in order to teach, in order to educate, in order to intervene, you need to have a curriculum. So this was, talking about inclusion, we have to think about curriculum. And curriculum was developed. Practitioners, experts were working, ourselves were including in developing curriculum, so that in 2021 now, it is the latest program approval of educational program for preschool, primary, and secondary special education, in which there is annex number 12, which is a framework curriculum for primary and secondary special education for children with MSI and deaf blindness. So this is separate. This is the framework curriculum for the whole length of education for children with deaf blindness and MSI, multisensory impaired. We have also a curriculum for early intervention. This was again published and re-amended to the framework curriculum for the early intervention groups organized for children with sensory disabilities, MSI, and the methodology of services. What are the issues? What are the issues for children? The issues for children are to have a diagnostic and the assessment that supports the understanding of the implications of disability, of deaf blindness. You have to have individualized service plans. You have to have very, very well developed and implemented individualized educational plan. And this is also something that we need to learn how to develop individualized educational plan. It's not that easy. It's not that simple. And it has to become a dynamic, a functional, and a useful document. Then it's access to curriculum and learning, okay? Access to the environment, access to the curriculum. We know the implications of disability, of deaf blindness, but we have to know what are, the ways to support those implications. First, we need to understand and then to support. Create resources, create the environment. Then the issues for children are communication. You need to know how to develop communication. You need to be aware, to be trained in sign language, in communication through pictures, in objects of reference, tactile communication. If you don't implement tactile communication, of course, you may tell me, but not all of the children with deaf blindness need tactile communication. Yes, but it is one implication that some of them may need it. So if you don't use touch, if you don't use hand-on-hand communication, if you don't use intensive interaction, it's very difficult then to look for the aim of what you would like to develop. Social skills, independence. So again, something that it is really important. Issues for adults. Usually teachers, professionals talk a lot about children, and our efforts are mainly regarding children. But no, we have to think of the adults regarding quality of life, independence, their vocational training, and the empowerment. And people, I will let you know my email at the end. And dear participants, if you would like to write to me, there are so many studies also on the empowerment and the need that we are fully aware that we do not just develop functional abilities. We aim to empowerment to adults who have these abilities to function, to enjoy, to work, to share experiences with other people. And I'm very strong also about organizations and institutions, because it's not just the people as practitioners, professionals. It has to be also the institution, leadership, management has to approach also, accessibility, to create the supportive learning environment, the working methodology, the curriculum framework, and to support competent professionals. It doesn't matter which working place you are in, special education, inclusive education, mainstream education. You have to be competent. You have to train yourself all over your professional career. So, and belonging to a professional community is really something that it is important. So all these support this inclusion process. It's not just the child. This was some many years ago. If the child fits into the school, that's okay. This is something that we should not even mention unless we want to do a change about it. So now it is the institution with the professors, with the teachers, with the resources, with the support, and then, okay, we embrace the child and the family. These are, because I go back to our history for in the years, we had to create resources, and this is something that happened 25 years ago. So please, I apologize, because when I was asked which class would you like to work in, it was my first year, and they told me visual impairment or deaf blindness. And then I asked, what is deaf blindness? That was 25 years ago, if not more. And you had to share, through the resources, what is deaf blindness. So we created translations, adaptations. You see there, Sense International Romania was again a lot of together with the university, put a lot of effort in creating knowledge and resources in Romanian, and these are some books. This is something that I coordinate. This is a collection, Education of Children with Multiple Disabilities at our department, and there are already 4 volumes in the collection. So this is something that we are very proud of regarding literature of specialty in Romanian. This is something also very important to have, because again, English, French, or other languages are, yes, mainly in database and journals and books, and we always look for this. But it is so important that we create resources and literature of specialty and also because in our languages, and also this is because parents can have access to them. So these are other publications regarding multiple disability and deaf blindness. These are resources, going back to the professionals. It is a must to develop competencies of professionals. But how we develop? Practice-based mentoring. This is very important, practice-based, because I have a style of communication, a style of interaction, a style of teaching, a style of evaluation. And sometimes I do not know, because I can't see myself, if that approach if that perspective is good. So and not only beginner teachers and professionals, not only those who are at the beginning of their career, teaching career, professional career, but also those who are experienced need mentor, need supervision. I didn't put here supervision, but it is something that we can think of, that supervision for professionals is very important. Also, development of theoretical background. Please, to be a practitioner who says, I'm not interested in theory, I'm a good practitioner, is very risky, very, very risky. You have to know why do you do something, even if you are doing it very well, and why does it make a difference. Why does it make a difference? It is not related only to communication or behavior. We don't practice only behavioral approaches. So this is why you have to know, why does it make a difference for the child, because you do your intervention in a certain way. Publications, this is okay, something that to researchers, to professors, academic, will have sorry, I apologize. And training and follow-up programs. So you need to be responsible of your own training. And I myself, I'm so proud of having so many professional relationships in this world, like I have with my very dear friends and colleagues from Brazil. I have met them in so many international conferences, and for years, for tens of years, and it is something that we know about, that we share this common language. This is the common language of professional, that we speak the same language because we share something together. So greetings to everybody that I know, and I hope I will know more in time, dear colleagues. Professional development means mentoring, training on specific themes, practicum based, reflection based. Why do I do this, and what it is in time that will make a difference? Follow up programs, because, and this is again something that we need to think of, I may be in a course and I learn something, but when I go back to my classroom, I'm not using it. And that's again something that I need to think of, why. So follow-up programs means that I start to learn to use that method, that approach, that resource, and then I give feedback and we discuss what happened. Personal development. I think it is very important for teachers, for professionals also to think about their personal development, and in terms of self-evaluation, self-competence, efficacy of working, positive interactions with deafblind individuals. As I said, for me, it was a huge experience relating to and knowing so many people with deafblindness. And projects, please write projects, take part in projects, because it's again something that will enrich our experience. Yes, we have, because I was talking about initial training, we have bachelor level, we have master level. I also teach, but there is also in all universities in Romania. This is part of the initial training of those who would like to become psychologists or special education teachers or teachers. There are parts, not at the special education departments, there are fully courses specific on deaf blindness and techniques that are used in multiple disabilities. So it is it is a starting point for those who will work. We had a lot of summer schools, again, something related to the professional development, to the professional community. Please organize meetings. organize summer schools for teachers, for or international summer schools. Yes, with the support of NGOs, of institutions, of universities, because you need to discuss, you need to share best practices, you need to analyze case studies. The international conferences, ICVI Europe or ICVI Global, or conferences of deaf blindness, the World Conference on Deaf Blindness, and these are again amazing opportunities to meet colleagues and to share practices and to improve your know-how. In-service training, we did a lot, and that is something again specific. You can see here in-service training, postgraduate training courses, together with these associations and organizations that were very, very supportive. But you have to be in a partnership in order to make a difference, and that is good. And also with the involvement of the Ministry of Education and Research. I wanted to tell you also about the projects. These are European projects, European projects under the umbrella of Erasmus. But Erasmus has calls programs for beyond Europe programs. So whenever you may think of just reaching out to professionals, colleagues, universities even from Europe, of course, United States and other regions of this world, you may. But these are some that we learned a lot through these European projects. Promoting effective communication for individuals with a vision impairment and multiple disabilities, intervention services for families with children with vision impairment and additional disabilities, burnout, which is the newest program, burnout of professionals and parents with children with disabilities in early intervention. So these are just a few projects that enrich us and makes us think of better modalities, a better understanding intervention and inclusion. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. Thank you for your attention. This is my email address. I really wish that I was there together with you, but online meeting, even if I'm very, very far away, I feel very included. And I cherish, as I said. Thank you again for the invitation, and congratulations to the organizers. I wish all of you to have a wonderful day, constructive learning, sharing, and just enjoy what you do. This is something that we need to learn. To enjoy what we do, not just to work, but we enjoy what we do. We ourselves identify with what we do, and sometimes also we need to have fun with children, with the adults with deaf blindness, and together with colleagues. Thank you again. I'm very honored, and I'm very happy, and all the best to all of you.
Nossa, Wow. I'd like to ask you many questions, Professor Andrea, but our time is short, unfortunately. So I'm going to summarize some questions. We have students, deaf and blind students from the university, and the empowerment that you were saying is very important. Definitely, I will email you so we can discuss more about the empowerment of the deaf and blind students. So the first one is about the university students, the ones that are on the chat, and they're asking if the deaf and blind students are in the university and how the accessibility is done for them. And another question also related to the adult public if there's any type of services, any type of work being done to elderly, deaf and blind. And after you answered those questions, we would like to ask you about the children. Oh, but I'm going to ask the third question, and then you can answer the three of them. The participants wants to know what are the support, what's the support offered to the children, the deaf and blind children, so they can study and they can follow up with their education, their instruction. And if the special education and the standard education, the regular schools, if they are similar, their curriculum is similar or is different, how it works. So those three are the questions from our public to you.
Okay, just to take the questions for deaf blinds for university. Our university has an office for students with disabilities. So that is something that we have, again, proudly to mention, that it is unique in Romania. The office for students with disabilities, and not necessarily for deaf blind at the moment, but for students with visual impairment and for students with hearing impairment, with deafness. This office supports participation and access to resources. So but the students have to ask for the service if they feel like it. Just from my experience, I had students with deafness who didn't ask for support necessarily in exams or something. But there were also students with deafness who asked for this support, and then the university paid and hired on contract based interpreters, sign language interpreters. So they were coming to courses together with the interpreters and in the exams, and they were facilitating participation, understanding, interaction. So that is supported. For visual impairment, for students who are blind, again, they can ask for the support, and we do tactile materials, resources. We do anticipatory curricular modifications in terms of we send out the handout before, or we discuss the courses or something that it is difficult to understand, if it is the situation. We also have braille printer, but we also try to support through access technology their participation. So this is something that, again, it is very important to establish an office, a department. So imagine the university is huge. So one student cannot even know that he may ask for the support, or so it has. And professors, academia, teachers will have to know about giving the extra time for the exam, or putting some extra resources, or having an alternative resource, or accepting the interpreter in the course. And again, something that we need to know, that it's not only access, it's also participation. So it is very important that professors, academia knows about the importance of peer relationship. So whenever you are teaching, even though you teach courses or seminars, you try to include, you try to support the participation, because also there is a lot of reports and testimonials of students with disabilities regarding how they see participation. If it is not efficient or valuable for them, they tend to isolate. So at the moment, I don't know if there are any students in university with the deaf blindness, but definitely there are, and also motor in wheelchairs. So we take a lot of responsibility regarding accessibility for them, but also being part of the group. And there are also projects, service learning, or many events, many activities. Like next week there will be inclusion for students with visual impairment, their experience, and there will be discussions. So it is a lot of awareness in this way, and not only awareness but also events, and we include all the students. Services, so I hope I answered regarding students. You have, again, that's my opinion, you have to have a framework, and then you have an office or a department, so that you are supported if you ask, and then people, those who are there, find and identify the best support for them. Services for adults, children grow up. We focus a lot on children in education, even early intervention, families. But the length of your life is more as an adult. So you have to be supported, and there are again NGOs, associations, and even centers, daily centers. Not so many, because as I said, usually we focus on children, but yes, this is something that vocational training is something that we value, and there are many schools who provide, and they have a project-based vocational training for young people with deaf blindness, like gardening or cooking, and copying machine, or so many. There are school-based, project-based vocational training for young people with deaf blindness. And especially these organizations like Sense International Romania is a lot involved in transitioning. This is again a very important word, to transition from school to your adult life. Who supports that? Okay, we teachers, if we are a teacher, we finish school, you finish school. Okay, that's we did the best. We support your independence, but you have to have, as school, I think, also that responsibility to support the transition to social context, to professional context. And again, this is supported, not so much of university, I have to say, I have to be honest, but due to the work and the hard work of the organizations and the associations. So there are, but not that many, I have to say. And it is a lot, it is also a lot of the work of the parents. And without parents, this is why when you are in a school and you work in a school as a teacher, as a professional, please love the parent. He is somebody that he will continue your work at home. He's somebody who will cherish your work and your presence in the life of that child. But you have to love that parent, because he will support that transition for that young person, for that young adult. So this is also something that we see, that parents of young people with deaf blindness are making all the effort so that person is has the opportunity to work, to go to a daily center. We don't have so many protected services for adults. It is something that we look forward, and yes, to support. Was the second, special education, inclusive education. So yes, we still have the two systems of education, the special education system and the inclusive, but with the new law of education that is from September, putting it to, I mean, it was developed and now it is already being implemented. There will be 4 levels of severity. So we include, and schools will include according to the level of severity of the disability. So it will be not necessarily be based according to the type of disability and the level of, according to the medical diagnosis, but according to the level of severity, which is again something that, okay, these are the discussions now, but this will be the aim, that yes, children, even with deaf blindness, even with multiple disabilities, will be in special schools according to their need. In my personal view, you have to have in a country all the possibilities, everything that you can offer, even though special schools may be considered discriminatory. And yes, we aim the inclusion. Everybody work together, everybody study together, learn together. And it has to be, I'm one of the, let's say, fighters for inclusion in that way, but only if it is for the benefit of the child and of the family. And sometimes it is not now, but it may be tomorrow. You know what I mean? You have to think of what those benefits, and the school. This is why I told and I presented also about institutions, because the institution has to create that opportunity that everybody is taking part of. Curriculum is developed for, it is adapted, but only for children who are in schools with learning disabilities. Otherwise, the curriculum for the visually impaired children is the national curriculum. And of course, in the special education system, there are the therapies, the therapeutical approaches, which are not yet covered in the mainstream, though regular school, as you said, though there are partnerships, that can be partnerships between inclusive education and special schools who have the capacity. So they become, special schools become, and there are so many, resource schools. You know what I mean? Resource schools. So because they have the qualified professional now. Probably, in mainstream schools, there are support teachers, there are speech therapists, there are counselors, there are psychologists, but not necessarily the people who are qualified on visual impairment, deaf blindness, deafness, and then this is a qualified staff, professionals that you need to have. Inclusion does not mean, this is something that I really, really cherish as idea. Inclusion means respect to your needs. It does not mean that you don't have them. We all have needs, but if we are really considerate, we have to think that we respect the needs and we support the needs. We don't put barriers. We cannot put barriers or obstacles. We are not allowed. This is a right, but to be together, but it does not mean that I don't have to think of the support, so that you learn together with everybody in that way. And you see, the word you and I, you and them, you and us, it's not, it's something that we have to So we are a we together with this diverse situation. So regarding curriculum, they are separate now, but there are different kind of schools who follow the national mainstream curriculum. It depends.
Muito obrigada, professora Andréa Ratazzi. Certamente a sua prática relatada aqui vai inspirar as nossas práticas enquanto profissionais que atuam com pessoas com cegueira. Obrigada mais uma vez. E a nossa próxima atividade será às 10h40. Será a mesa redonda intitulada A Comunicação Social Áptica, Seus Desdobramentos e Possibilidades, e será mediada pela professora doutora Márcia Noronha de Mello, do Instituto Benjamin Constant. Muito obrigada mais uma vez e até a próxima atividade daqui a 10 minutos.
You can speak now.